So Joe, as you know, and all of our listeners know, of course, I've been a huge advocate for student recruitment. And it's very interesting because when we talk about student recruitment, something that we have to kind of leave out of the mix is compensation data, because we really don't have a lot of compensation data for podiatric medicine. And we definitely need that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting. We've interviewed a couple people, and separately, I've gotten some communications either through texts or emails, and we don't have solid representative data from a national kind of level. So it's definitely something that I think is hard, because when students ask, we don't have a good representation. There's a massive scale in what you can earn as a podiatric surgeon and physician.
Right. And it's not just students we're recruiting, but how about the residents that are negotiating a new position, or if you're a practice and you're trying to bring in a new practitioner. And then APMA, of course, they're doing efforts on advocacy efforts. So it's always good to have that kind of information.
Yeah, and speaking of APMA, actually today I filled out a survey. So one of the initiatives that they are starting is to try to maybe bridge this gap and get some actual data from providers in terms of what their salary and their compensation looks like. And so there's a survey that's going out, and hopefully people will fill that out transparently and honestly. It's anonymous, so that's nice that, again, you don't have to feel awkward about your pay if that is something that you're carrying with you. But hopefully we can get some answers to tackle this problem head on.
Well, I think that the survey, and it's put out by a company called Merit Health, M-A-R-I-T. And my understanding is it's only been out there for about a week, and they have over 400 respondents already.
Fabulous. Yeah. And you can go to www.apma.org/compensation to participate. I'm sure if you just did a Google search, APMA survey salary, you could probably find it, and share your information. Again, we just were talking about this at our local APMA state meeting. In terms of negotiating contracts, it only takes a couple minutes to answer these questions and get aggregate data if we can get everyone to participate.
Yeah, it's interesting because once you're on the website, you have access to all the other information about what the averages are. And I think in December, they're going to put out kind of the final results. So it's exciting. And like you said, it only takes a couple minutes.
And there's an incentive. We all love incentives, right? So certainly if you fill out the survey, you are entered into a chance to win. I think there's $100 gift cards and a grand prize of $500 gift card. So, 5 minutes of your time, it's a pretty good ROI if you're looking for a quick little boost for some Amazon spending money.
Yep, there you go. And you know what? It's going to be in our show notes, so people can just click on that too.
Perfect. So be sure to visit www.apma.org/compensation and take the survey today.
Thanks, everyone. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Dean's Chat, where we discuss all things podiatric medicine. My name is Dr. Jeffrey Jensen. I'm the Dean at the Arizona College of Podiatric Medicine and the co-host for the Dean's Chat podcast. Once again, I'm joined by my co-host, Dr. Joanna Richey. Hi, Joe.
Hey, Jeff. How you doing?
I am doing great. First week in October, life is good. How about you? What have you been up to?
Oh, man, we're recovering from a really disappointing Cardinals loss, so we're not talking about that. But on a more positive note, we took the kids up north, and I went to the observatory and did some fun, things with them up north, which was gorgeous weather, and the leaves were changing. So fun getting into the fall feelings. But I'm really excited about our episode today.
Oh, for sure. Every year, Joe, this is the third year running now. We've interviewed students from each of the colleges of podiatric medicine, and these are students that represent APMSA, and that stands for American Podiatric Medical Students Association. And we are joined by three students from the Barry University School of Podiatric Medicine. And I'd like to just do a quick little introduction for each of you. Representing the class of 2027, Cassandra St. Welcome to Dean's Chat, Cassandra.
Hi, Dr. Jensen and Dr. Richey.
Thanks for joining us. And also representing the class of 2027, Mansi Patel. Welcome to Dean's Chat, Mansi.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
You are so welcome. And then representing the class of 2028, Scott Fischer. Scott, welcome to Dean's Chat.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jensen, and thank you, Dr. Richey, as well.
Well, we're really excited to have all of you here today representing Barry University. And what we'd like to do is we'll start first with where did you do your undergrad? What was your degree? and then how you found out about podiatry. And we'll mix it up each time, but Cassandra, you're the first in my screen, so I'm going to start with you.
Okay, great. So I went to University of South Florida in Tampa. My degree was in biomedical science. And what got me into podiatry? I kind of had a non-traditional route. I wanted to get into medicine ever since I was a kid. I think most students do, right? And right after graduating from USF, I then went on to Barry to do my master's program, also biomedical science. I actually went into teaching for a few years. It was interesting because I always had a passion for education as well. It just kind of crept up on me, actually. But medicine was always something I knew I wanted to do. So I got into teaching. I taught science and math for a little bit. And then I found out about podiatry. I've kind of heard about it in the master's program, but what made me kind of like look more in depth in it was because I got an email about like residency and surgery. And I was like, huh. And so I kind of like did my research on it, fell in love with it, and I applied. And I kind of shadowed a little bit before getting into school. And now that I'm in the program, I've learned so much. There's just so many things we could do with podiatry. I'm just learning so much, and I'm super excited about it. And honestly, everything up until this point has been such a blessing for me.
That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. And we find the biomedical master programs, there's a lot of that figuring out phase. And so I love that was part of it for you as well. Mansi, how about you?
I did my undergrad at Rutgers University in New Brunswick, New Jersey. I got my major in my BA in my biological sciences, and then I did my minor in psychology. Just like Cassandra, I feel like ever since I was a kid, I always was gravitating towards medicine. I don't really think I can see myself doing anything besides this, but I was always on like a MD-DO track, and then I started thinking about PA, and then I figured I have to get some sort of clinical hours in. So I was getting ready to graduate, and I was looking for a medical assistant job, actually. I had no clue what podiatry was because I feel like when you're in undergrad, they push a lot of like the dentistry, PT, MD, DO, but nobody ever speaks about podiatry. And I ended up interviewing for a podiatrist, and I was graduating, so I already had plans of taking a gap year, and I got the job. I worked for him for 2 years, and halfway through that, I was like, maybe this is something I should do, actually. So obviously, he's one of my mentors now. I spoke to him, and I was like, hey, do you think this would be a good track for me? Like, and I saw his work-life balance. He was happy. Like, he was doing surgery, which was another big aspect of why I love podiatry. And I ended up applying, and now I'm here 3 years later.
That's fantastic. We do find that shadowing and working in the field gives people that true insight into what this world of podiatry is and how much opportunity there is. So I love that was part of your story. How about you, Scott? Where did you do your undergrad? What was your degree in, and how did you find out about podiatry?
So I actually did my undergrad here at Barry University. Like Cassandra, I had a very non-traditional background that brought me to where I am right now. When I turned 18, I joined the United States Coast Guard, and I served there for 10 years. I was stationed in Washington, D.C., New Jersey, California, Alaska, and then finally down here in Florida. Got out after 10 years in as a corpsman. So I always was doing medicine that entire time, and knew I wanted to continue doing something medical related, but just kind of got out and quickly got started at Barry, not really sure with what I wanted to do next. I had thought PA, possibly MD-DO. And then, of course, naturally through being at Barry, I found out about the podiatry program, thought that was pretty interesting, and actually found out a family member of my wife's was a Barry master's graduate, and we mentioned to him, hey, did you happen to know anybody in the podiatry program while you were doing your master's program? And he said, actually, she's here at the time, Christmas party we were having, and ended up meeting with her and shadowing with her, and was like, wow, this is exactly what I wanted to do. Shadowed her for several months, applied to podiatry school, got in, and now actually the doctor that I was shadowing is the dean of Barry University, Dr. Ramil.
Wow.
That is what an amazing small world, right?
Yes.
And
It's,
something
I
as
definitely
simple
feel
as,
like I'm meant to be where I am right now.
yeah, that's such a beautiful story. Thank you.
That is fabulous. Kudos to Dr. Ramil for becoming the dean there. She's worked with Barry in an educational capacity for many, many years, and she's just wonderful. So I'm super happy for all of you and for her. Next question. What do you wish you had known about podiatry school before you went into podiatry school? Mansi, let's start with you.
I feel like I didn't really know like the structure of it. I feel like, especially because all schools do it so differently. At Barry, we do the 2 years of didactics, and then we mix in the classwork with the clinical work like third year. And then I didn't even know, honestly, that we go on rotations our fourth year. So I feel like after I got here, just like learning the timeline was something that I had to pick up. Obviously, I knew that there was going to be a residency attached to it, but just like structure, I guess. I also didn't know that we start learning about like foot stuff starting your first year. So yeah, that was like a surprise when I got here, 100%. Because I just thought it would be structured the same way as MDDO school. But I'm honestly super happy that we get specialized so early on, because it starts to integrate different aspects of medicine so early that by the time that we're done, I feel like even in our third year right now, like everything is finally like coming together, and it makes sense why we do it this way.
Well said. Scott, what was something about podiatry that you were kind of surprised about once you got into podiatry school?
Probably the thing that surprised me the most is that podiatry and podiatry schools is in fact such an incredibly small world. I mean, given with my story, and everything that's happened to me so far, I've learned, through experience that it is in fact that way. But, knowing now that it was as small as it was, I would have probably put myself out a lot more as far as meeting with other podiatrists prior to starting up at Barry. I would have, even my first year, put myself out more as far as reaching out to other programs, learning from other students at their programs, what some of the mistakes or pitfalls that they're making, but also the things that are working. And then, like I said, just kind of putting myself out there more, networking, beginning to network a little bit earlier to really kind of posture and put myself in a position to really succeed and possibly learn things along the way that could help my classmates succeed as well.
It's funny you mention that, because it's such a small profession. Reaching out and connecting with your colleagues, whether you're a student or you're a resident or you're a practitioner, is so much easier than you might think it is, because you always feel like you're putting people out, but you never are really. It's funny you mention that, because when I was in Miami, 2010 through 17, the things I remember, going to heat games with Dr. Lucido, getting together with Dr. Sutherland and going out on his boat on the bay. I mean, it's never the work part, the academic part. It's the extra fun stuff you do. So good. I agree with you. Cassandra, what surprised you about podiatry school that you weren't necessarily anticipating?
So, honestly, I didn't know that much about podiatry. So a lot of things I was just kind of learning it as I came. But I will say one thing that surprised me in a really positive way was just how vast it was. I didn't realize that we could do so many things within it. Like we could do all kinds of surgeries. We can work with different kinds of populations. Like I never even considered just working with kids through podiatry or just working with the elderly. So there was just so many things I didn't know, and so many vast connections that we can make. Like kind of like what Scott was saying, like it's such a small world in our field. And if you put yourself out there, people are willing to carry you along the way. They're willing to mentor you, talk to you, point you in the right directions. I've met so many amazing people, and I hope to continue to meet more. And so honestly, like I'm like one of those few people that are honestly like talking about podiatry wherever I can. I wear my Barry sweater, I wear my shirt, and like just tell people, because podiatry it's like so small, it's so underrated. There's so many things you could do, and like honestly, everyone I met has been so amazing. So yeah.
That's incredible. Joe, it's funny because so often we interview students, and so many of them didn't know about podiatry till they got exposed to it in one way or another, right? But it's not like kids grow up and in 5th grade, they say, hey, when I grow up, I'm going to be a podiatrist. You know, you're not hearing that unless their father was, or mother, or aunt, or uncle. So anyways, great stories.
Yeah, or, you know, it's a little different too, that unless you had a specific reason to go see a podiatrist, it's not like you're naturally exposed to them. I mean, as a kid, everybody goes to they should be going to the dentist. Like, there are some exposures that are very natural. And then there are students that had an injury, maybe through pediatric sports stuff. And so they were exposed, and that is their origin story. But I totally agree. It's so much more often that we find this untraditional path, or, I didn't even know that this was a specialty that existed. Or I think, Mansi, I think you had mentioned, I just kind of assumed it was part of this MDDO tract. I didn't realize actually it was kind of a separate thing until you start to kind of look into it more and find out what the details are. And I love every single one of your stories and the input that you have about the things that have been exciting and maybe not surprising in a bad way, but just surprising, like, oh, I didn't even realize that this was something that was possible. I'd love to hear about an experience that has inspired you. It can be clinical. It doesn't have to be, but something that along your journey as a student has inspired you in the field of podiatry. Scott, we'll start with you this time.
That's a really good question, Dr. Richey. I mean, what inspires me really is my classmates. You know, I try to set a high bar for myself, and I find myself being pushed by my classmates a lot. And that's great, because I think that probably one of the biggest driving factors for a lot of professions is your colleagues and how well they're doing. Not so much as a keeping up with the Joneses, but it's a pushing for bettering each other and bettering our profession. So I find a lot of that, my inspiration, coming from my classmates. I get a lot of inspiration from my wife as well. She's very, very motivating and helps me when times are tough, when you go home from, multiple exams and the kids need to be put to bed and staying up a little bit later than maybe everybody else studying. But, I think just the whole experience itself has been really inspiring for me, but especially my classmates and my upperclassmen as well have been a great inspiration as well. It's just seeing them succeed, and moving down the track ahead of me, clearing the way more or less, but showing it can be done. It's not, there's nothing here that is impossible. There's nothing about this profession that is impossible, but they're showing me that their hard work and their dedication is really proving fruitful.
Nothing is more inspiring than seeing the people you care about succeed. And I love that you mentioned that there is this pulse in podiatry of supporting each other rather than trying to tear each other down or step all over each other. And it's a really wonderful learning environment to facilitate intercollegial and professional development. So I appreciate that you highlighted that particular aspect. Cassandra, how about you?
So I would say the thing that inspired me the most has to be, well, so far, I don't want to say the most, but one thing for sure was me being in the position as being a student body president. I get to work really closely with the FPMA and like the physicians in the organization. Just kind of seeing them and seeing how they make so many important decisions that affect our field kind of inspires me to want to kind of be like them in the future one day. Like, you strive hard, you work really hard now, do what you have to do, but then like there's more, like make sure that you don't leave the field behind. Because a lot of people, like once you start practicing, you kind of forget about our field as a whole. But I think I'm definitely going to be one of those few, or maybe more people might join me as well, but to really leave an impact, hopefully climb up the ranks with FPMA, APMA. I mean, it's definitely possible, but they for sure have left the mark in my heart.
Oh, I love that. Having people to inspire you to do great work and continue to inspire other people to do great work is really probably the most satisfying thing. And this includes your day-to-day work in what you're actually doing in your office or hospital setting. So, and a huge shout out to the FPMA. They've been an incredible partner in rallying around Team Podiatry. So I commend you, and I like high five you all the way to continuing to stay active and being a part of that.
So, Mansi, how about you? What was something that inspired you?
I would say I'm gonna hone in on a specific experience, if that's okay. So like I said, I worked as an MA before I got here, so I did get like a little bit of exposure in like in office setting work before getting to podiatry school, but it was just like, typical nails, calluses, stuff like that. And it was a pretty normal population. And then this past year, Barry does the annual mission trip every year to the Bahamas. And as a second year, I was like, hey, maybe it's time for me to go. A mission trip was always something that I was interested in. And so once I got there, I just seeing the patient population there, seeing that there's only 4 podiatrists in all of the Bahamas, the underserved population, people wait like a year to even get some sort of foot care, and they wait for Barry to come down and give it to them. So just like seeing that, and like, I feel like we take a lot of things for granted living in America, especially. Doctors are very accessible here. Insurance is very accessible. So seeing a whole nother side of podiatry where you could give back to the community, not only in America, because we do like homeless shelters and stuff down here, but going to a whole nother country and seeing how grateful somebody is. They've been walking in pain every day, and you're able to take that away within a matter of 5 minutes. It's honestly super inspiring, and I hope to not only continue working in the Americas in the future once I am established, but I would definitely like to do more mission work in the future as well, just to give back. It's honestly such a beautiful thing. I feel like it brought me so much closer to my faith and stuff too. So, yeah.
Oh, this is so beautiful, Jeff. These students are going to just change the world, and I love talking with them because the things that have inspired you guys are such beautiful demonstrations of why podiatry will succeed in the future. Wanting to give back, wanting to help move the profession forward, and lifting and supporting each other. I'm so impressed. Mic drop. Tag, you're it.
I am too, and I love it. So this might be a little out of character, Joe, for some of ours, but I was going to ask for some professor shout-outs. I always find that professors are such mentors, and they really make an imprint on young students, and they're not only their present, but their future. So maybe, Mansi, let's start with you. Professor shout-outs, basic science and clinical.
Can I do more than one?
Yes, of course. One of each, if you would like.
Okay, we're going to start with basic sciences. Shout out to Dr. Hassan Azari. He was our general anatomy and lower extremity anatomy professor. He is one of the most smartest people I've ever met in my life. Like, we would be in cadaver lab and he would know exactly where to find a structure. And I'd be like, Dr. Azari, I can't find this nerve. 2 minutes, it's found, So shout out to him. I worked as a teaching assistant for him as well. So we just got close over that experience. And it was so inspiring working under him because he's not a DPM, but he is so knowledgeable. So that really set me up for success throughout school. And then right now I would say shout out Dr. St. He is our surgery professor. He also works in clinic with us because we're now on Barry rotations. So he's just always finding teaching opportunities. Any question that you could possibly have, he is like down to explain it. And I love people who love to teach, like we're here. Everybody ahead of us went through this experience at some point. So to make our experience better and for them to be happy and willing to do that, it's great. I'm so grateful for it.
When you see Dr. St, tell him we're waiting to get him on Dean's Chat. We want him on there. Okay.
I'll tell them tomorrow.
All right, sounds good. All right, Cassandra, how about you? Some professor shout-outs, one for basic science, one for clinicals.
Okay, so for basic science, I would have to say Dr. Shabib. She's our pharm professor. She is very, very interactive, and she will make sure that you remember every single drug. She just has a really good way of like breaking it down for us to remember. So I enjoyed her class a lot. And then for clinical, I would have to say Dr. Cuffey. Dr. Cuffey has been like a mentor to me. Dr. Sherrison Cuffey, let me say his full name. He just kind of inspired me to really like look at wound care in a different way, and that there's so many different procedures you could do. And I don't know, it just kind of gave me more of a compassion for those of us who, maybe have family members who who have had illnesses that probably led to those kinds of wounds and stuff like that. I know I've definitely seen that for sure. And so I really, really look up to him and what the work that he does. He's very methodical, very like kind, but he will, drill you as well. So I enjoy his class for sure.
Dr. Coffey's amazing. When he came to Barry University, he brought just a wealth of knowledge in clinical trials and wound care and advancing the state of wound care, really. So what a great mentor he is for sure. All right, Scott, you're up. Mentors, basic science and clinical.
It's really incredible because both Cassandra and Mansi have taken all 4 of the ones that I was thinking of.
Can't have duplicates.
We could, but I mean, I do want to give more shout outs. I think that, Dr. Shaw, our biochemistry professor, is actually phenomenal. For someone to be able to take biochemistry, probably one of the most loathed classes of the, sciences, I would say, and break it down, make it simple for us to understand and ensure that we make it through in one piece is hard work, but he's managed to find a way to do it, and he's been patient with us the whole way through. And then for clinical, I would have to say Dr. Luis Rodriguez, our radiology professor. He's just taking his time with really walking us through radiology slowly, making sure we understand everything along the way, and being patient, and just, really being a good mentor and providing us with really solid case studies too, to help us learn and apply what we're seeing on our slides into a real world situation. So
that's great. I'm sure Dr. Shaw's ears are burning. Please say hi for me. And we may have to edit the loathed part about biochemistry.
No, I think it's very authentic
for that one.
I think it's pretty authentic and reasonably shared. Not everyone, but certainly.
There you go. All right, Joe, you're up.
Before we switch, I think maybe we can go into some rapid fire. But before we do that, maybe we have a quick shout out from our sponsors.
Did you know APMA provides help with public health initiatives such as fall prevention, opioid abuse prevention, and addressing health disparities?
Did you know the APMA provides over $400,000 in scholarships annually to students pursuing podiatric medicine, helping the next generation of foot and ankle specialists?
If you're serious about this profession, if you want to grow, to lead, to make a lasting impact, join APMA today.
So welcome back. All right. So we would love to get more information from each of you about the roles that you carry in the APMSA. We know there's a lot of opportunity for leadership, and not just one role, as I am the APMSA rep, but there's multiple roles. So Cassandra, we'll start with you again, since we're back to the beginning. Tell us a little bit about what role you carry and what the responsibilities are with that.
Right. So I'm the student body president at my school. And so I'm a part of the president's committee at APMSA. And as of right now, we actually do a lot. We're trying to do a scholarship where there's going to be a student of the year. So we're trying to orchestrate narrowing that down and then voting on that. And then the student of the year will then receive a nice scholarship, and they'll be flown out there. We're also trying to do something new this year. I'm not even sure if I should even talk about it, but I'm gonna release it anyways. Oh, actually, I think you guys might know. So normally we do like an academic conference. And so this year we're actually switching things up. So instead of having a conference, we're going to switch to having like a podcast. So that's going to be really neat. And so we've been working really hard to get that in order. And hopefully we can kind of make it similar to how you guys run it. But that's kind of the idea, just to kind of target it towards podiatry students and those who are interested. But those are the two main things that we're doing right now. I mean, there's a whole set of other things as well, but those are the two main things.
Fantastic. Thank you. Scott, how about you?
So I serve on the education committee on top of being an APMSA delegate. Right now, we just completed some externship surveys that we kind of gather up and disseminate to third years so they can make educated decisions on where they would like to go for their fourth year. And we are also currently working on a visa survey for these same programs and for residency programs as well. just seeing which schools allow for students who may be international, working underneath certain student visas, who do take the student visas and which ones do not. So,
Fantastic. And Mansi, what about you?
I am the class of 2027 national delegate from Barry. And aside from representing my class, I am also involved within APMSA. So I am the student liaison to ASPS, which is the American, the Surgery Association. I'm so sorry. And I'm also the PR committee chair. So I run basically, I'll talk about ASPS first. I sit on their board meetings as the student representative, basically try to help get more awareness, because I feel like a lot of students hear the bigger organizations such as ACFAS and stuff like that, but not many people know about ASPS. So just trying to get their name out there, especially because they are the only surgical leg in podiatry as far as associations go. So trying to get recruitment, trying to have more students come out to their conferences and stuff like that. And then for the PR committee, I basically oversee posts that go on the APMSA Instagram, and social media is like something that's super fun to me, content creating, all of that stuff. So being able to inspire students to basically advocate for the field, think of ideas to get people involved, because we showcase basically every single school on the Instagram. I feel like the more that people see it, especially on Instagram, where people who are not even in the podiatry field yet, like undergrad students, they could see what we're exactly doing at these schools, what kind of things we're doing on a national level, and just like inspire them to maybe come and try out the field. Yep.
Love that.
Yeah.
All right, Jeff, should we transition?
Let's do rapid
Sorry,
fire.
Dr. Jensen.
Yep.
We have students.
We're good.
We're not used to it.
How about some rapid fire?
Let's do it.
Okay.
These are fun rapid fire, not like quiz rapid fire.
All right, I'll go first. So living in Miami, there's plenty to do. What do you do when you need some downtime, you need to recharge your battery, you're tired of studying? What is your relaxation method of choice? Let's start with Mansi.
Luckily, I have built a great friend group here at Barry. Everybody loves to study, but, well, I guess I shouldn't say they love to study, but they do study. But aside from that, we like to try out new restaurants, go to happy hour, go to the beach, sit by the pool. We grill a lot, actually. So every holiday we try to get together at somebody's apartment and grill. It's a super fun experience. Just living in Miami, I feel like it takes away some of the stress of school, just being in the sunshine. And I've always wanted to move down here. So the fact that I can further my career while being here, it's pretty cool. I'm going to be sad that I have to leave soon, but yeah, just trying out different things in Miami. I feel like living in a big city, there's always something to do.
Amen. Scott, what do you do to recharge the battery after a series of exams and you need a break?
My wife and I will usually find our way over to the beach and make the most of the Miami weather as best we can. If we're feeling really adventurous, we may go free diving or go to the Keys and do some spear fishing if we can find any of the fish that are left down there. But it's usually pretty fruitful. It's always fun no matter what, whether we manage to get something or not. But, just getting out and being outside, well, underwater, and, just disconnecting is really, really healthy for me and my wife. Yeah.
Absolutely. Free diving. That's amazing. I love it. We'll talk more offline. All right, Cassandra, what do you do to recharge your battery after a series of exams and you need a break?
Good question. So I'm actually from Miami. So a lot of what I do is pretty local. So I might hang out with family members. I have a lot of friends in the city. So sometimes we'll just go out, hang out, go to brunch. We'll go to the beach as well. Or we'll go to the movies. Just something pretty chill. But yeah, nothing too crazy.
That's great. Joe, your turn.
All right. So one of my favorite questions to ask people is about music. Miami has a great music scene. So I'm curious, when you're wanting to do a task, so you may not be able to pick the OR music just yet, but let's say you have a task, not necessarily studying, because that's a different kind of music for a lot of students. You have to clean your house or your apartment. What kind of music do you play? Scott, we're going to start with you.
It's a hard choice. I'm a bit of a music guy. I listen to a lot of music, and it totally depends on the day. But, if I'm really feeling it, I'll turn on probably kind of my go-tos. That's stuff I heard cleaning while I was growing up. A lot of Rolling Stones, Led Zeppelin, classic rock, stuff like that. Gets you kind of in the mood. If I'm really in a big hurry and need to get going, maybe some Black Sabbath, really turn it up. So,
All right.
right.
Yeah.
A little Ozzy.
Of course, yeah.
Fantastic. All right, Cassandra, how about you?
So for me, it kind of varies. I got to be honest. It varies on my mood. So if I'm in the mood, sometimes I'll listen to a little bit of Drake, or I'll listen to a little bit of 80s and 90s. But for the most part, I'm just pretty much I also listen to a lot of Christian music too. So it really just varies on my mood or the day.
All right, fair enough. And Mansi, how about you?
I'm super Gen Z, so I listen to anything that's on like top 100. I love listening to rap, so yeah, Drake, Lil Baby. When I'm around the house, I love like what you would call like R&B, like soul music, love SZA. And then obviously living down in Miami, there's a lot of Latin culture down here, so you pick up on the Bad Bunny and the Ozuna and all that type of stuff. So I would say my playlist is also pretty varied as well. Yeah.
Fantastic.
That is great. Well, I'm gonna throw a shameless plug in here. For if you're into wound care at Barry, there's a scholarship, the Robert Warner Wound Care Scholarship, and it's an endowed scholarship that my wife and I started at Barry, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago. And so check it out. I mean, it's a great scholarship, and it's available to fourth year students. So even though you're not fourth years, you're not that far away. So check that out. And also, Joe and I appreciate all three of you taking time after you took an exam today to jump on Dudes Chat with us. Joe, any last words?
No, thank you so much, each of you, for your time today, for your passion and enthusiasm for the profession. And we cannot wait to see where your careers take you. And please let us know if there's ever anything we can do to help support you.
And also, Mansi, like, comment, and share on APMSA's Instagram.
100% will.
All right, sounds good. All right. So to all of you that are listening on Apple or Spotify, please give us a 5-star rating. And if you're watching on YouTube, by all means, become a subscriber. Joe, I noticed one of our episodes recently with Dr. Dupre, the strategic analyst for APMA. It kind of went viral. It's got 12 or 13,000 views or something, which is a lot for podiatry. So I was like, wow, people are watching it. So anyway, we appreciate all of you being here. We're going to send each of you a Dean's Chat mug. If you can take the last email I sent you and just reply to me with your address, we'll make sure we get those out in the mail. And Joe and I will continue to bring future leaders in podiatry from all the different schools and colleges of podiatric medicine, representing the American Podiatric Medical Students Association. Thanks again for joining us. Have a great week. Cheers, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.